Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a very special morning coffee with Mike. Why is today so special? Today is special because, well, we've got a couple of reasons why. First reason why is today's topic, very serious topic. What if your income was suddenly deleted? Other special reason is because we are not just streaming to Instagram. Welcome everybody on Instagram. We're not just streaming to Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter. Welcome everybody. I see you guys coming in. You're also streaming to Rumble. And I'm trying to get Rumble up and going here. So if you are watching over on Rumble, make sure that you comment and let me know that you're able to see us okay and that this is actually working properly. But you might be asking why move to Rumble? Why be on all these different platforms? And I want to share something with you that I tweeted about earlier this week. I found it very disturbing. I typically don't post things about political type stuff, but this is I thought that this was very serious and worth talking about. So here it is. Here it is. So I mentioned this over on Twitter the other day, or I should say X, and this was from Rumble, and Megan Kelly just posted about it. But basically, well, what's happened is that Russell Brand is getting demonetized on YouTube. Now, you might say, well, who the hell cares about Russell Brand and why should you care if he's getting demonetized? He's getting demonetized on YouTube for allegations against him. So he was there's allegations that he committed rape about 10 years ago. And so, or more than 10 years ago, I believe. And someone had just come forward now and is saying these kinds of things. And it hasn't gone to trial yet. He hasn't been convicted yet. Uh, but YouTube has taken the step to start deplatforming him. And not only that, you have the this message that Rumble received from the UK government saying to basically uh, try to censor him. Right? Here's what it says. It says. Uh, Today, we received an extremely disturbing letter from a committee chair in the UK Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, rape, and all serious crimes and believes that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation, it is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with the content on Rumble's platform. So, irrespective of that point, irrespective of whether or not the allegations have to do anything with his content on YouTube, he hasn't been convicted of anything yet. And let's say that he was convicted of rape, very serious charge. There's other people that have committed felonies that are on platforms and are making money on YouTube, making money on social media. The just seeing a social media platform demonetizing him without there being any kind of conviction, that just blows my mind. That's insane. So I wanted for us here, uh, number one, I wanted to move over to Rumble and start building an audience over on Rumble. So if you are watching here, wherever you're watching, go over to Rumble, look for Mara Wealth, type in Michael G. Lamont, and do your best to find me over there on that platform. I'm still getting that channel set up. But as far as today's topic, what if your income was suddenly deleted? I think that that's something that we all need to start thinking about, because if we are living in a world where the powers that be can start to silence people just for what they've said or what they've allegedly done, right? And who knows, like, where these allegations are coming from. That's scary. And so I think that it's important for us to have multiple areas of income, multiple ways for us to grow our wealth. That's the whole point of why I'm doing these channels here, why I'm putting things on Instagram and YouTube and now Rumble, Twitter, LinkedIn, all over the place to try to help everybody because it's so critical for us to have multiple ways to grow our wealth. Colin says, unfortunately, this seems to happen more often these days. Guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, it's such garbage. It really is. And I think that if it can happen to Russell Brand, it happened to Andrew Tate. I think that there's plenty of more people. It happened to the what his name, the guy that played Pirates of the Caribbean. It'll come to me, but uh, yeah, it's crazy how you could be branded something. You have this stain with you that lives with you, and you're going to lose your livelihood because of these things. It's just insane. So, why? How does any of this relate to trading? Well, if we are taking control of our growth, the growth in our financial wealth, then I think that that's putting putting more responsibility on us. It's putting more capability on us, and we don't need to be beholden to anyone else. I think that that's one of the things that attracted me to trading in the beginning. Actually did have a very rough upbringing myself too. I at 6 years old, perhaps you've read about it in my book, maybe you've heard about me speak about it before. I grew up and I was homeless, and it wasn't until later on that I started to find out about, oh well, you could grow wealth in trading, and you could put a little bit of money in and watch it grow relatively quickly. And then I started to say, you know what? Like, if there is a way that I can have a little bit of money, grow it into something more, I want to start pursuing that. When I first started out uh, in trading, I started out in trading. I first heard about the idea of investing maybe when I was about 14. I heard about from my uncle who was dabbling in the stock market at the time, and he was telling me, "Oh, you need to go and read the Wall Street Journal and start to learn how to invest." And he invested in Bluetooth way back then. This is going back to say 90 maybe 95 or so, 94, 95, somewhere in there. And so from back then, I had the idea that, wow, you could put a little bit of money in and watch it grow. What I didn't have back then was any kind of a plan on how to actually do that. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys here is to start to give you some practical tips on how you can begin to get into trading and to grow your wealth. So, now, first thing that I would say for everybody here that's watching, and if I could go back and talk to my younger self, this is some of the advice that I would give. The first thing that you want to do is start setting aside money that is specifically earmarked for trading. The reason why you want to do this is because if you're just taking money that you have planned for whatever, then and you put that money into a trading account, then you're going to be far more likely to be dialed into, oh, how's it doing today? Is it up? Is it down? And then also thinking that how that money is performing is going to affect whether you go out that night, whether you get that new car, that new house, so that whatever it is that you're interested in, that you're trying to get that money to grow for, you want to have some detachment from that money. And if you are earmarking a specific dollar amount every week, every paycheck, however it is, Then you have detachment from that money. What start small. Start small. Start with an amount that is not going to hurt you if you were to lose it all. Use an amount that if you did lose it all, yeah, it would sting. You want to care about it. You don't want to just be all willy-nilly with your money. But what you do want is to care just enough about it where if you were to lose it, it would suck, but you would be able to bounce right back from it. So start with that amount. That's the first thing that if you're new, you should be doing. Setting aside an amount for trading. Do that every paycheck that you get. Next, learn to use objective data. What does that mean? What that means is you don't want to be reliant on the news sources, right? That goes for everything. That goes for the major news networks. That goes for the social media platforms. Hell, that even goes for me. You don't want to rely on any kind of subjective interpretations of the market. What you want to be able to do is look at data and let the data speak to you and be able to make decisions based on that data. Now, how in the heck do you go about doing that? There's a lot of ways that you could go about doing that. I talk about some of them in my own book. Of course, I'm going to talk to you about my own book, right? I wrote this and I feel like it's uh, the best book that you could get that's going to give you something concise, that's going to give you the skills that you need in order to learn how to trade effectively. So, some of the things that you could begin to look for, especially if you're looking at the stock market, is to start to filter down the market into the data that has led to stocks that have gone on to double, triple, quadruple in a relatively short period of time. That way, what that does for you, what that does for you is that it allows you to compound your money quicker. If you're able to get one of these stocks or a handful of these stocks that are able to go up 100, 200, 300, 400% in a short period of time, you'll be able to compound your money quicker versus sitting in a say a S&P 500 account or a Nasdaq account that's just going to move with the market, and especially not handing it over to a mutual fund or something like that that will gladly charge you fees whether it performs for you or not. That's something else that I learned about the hard way. That's something else that I talk about in my book here. Next, learn the basics of risk management and position sizing. So, how are you going to manage risk? How are you going to manage your position sizes? What that means is that you're not going to take all the money that you're saving up each week and just plow it into one position and hope for the best. You need to be able to position size in such a way where you figure out, okay, I'm going to enter at X price. I'm going to exit if I'm wrong, and you need to have an exit strategy if you're wrong. That where you're going to exit at a certain price, and then you'll be able to cut your losses short and allow your winners to run and to keep on going. Just covering the basics here for everybody that's on the platform. So next up, number 4, and we'll have 4, and then we'll open it up to questions because I see a lot of comments coming in already. Number 4, start taking it to the next level. How are you going to take it to the next level? The way that you're going to start taking things to the next level is by getting more information. And well, of course, we offer that. And we offer it for free. I don't want your money at all for any of this. What I want you to do is sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for a free newsletter. We give free education every single week. I'm also sharing with you the ideas that I'm seeing that are developing, and I'm giving you a full list of those names. And not only that, I'm sharing with you tips and tricks on how to use the list themselves as market data. And here's what I mean. So if you have a trade ideas list, right? This trade ideas list is going to have all the things that you are interested in a stock. How that list performs is going to give you fantastic insights into the overall market environment. So let's say that you come up with all your different setups, right? A very common setup, a popular one is a flat base where the price is just trading sideways for about 4 or 5 weeks. Great. So you find a whole bunch of these. Let's just say that this particular week 80% of your list is moving higher. Great. That's great information that the market is giving you about the environment. It's telling you that your type of setup is working right now. So that would be the type of environment where I would be putting on more trades and stepping on the gas a little bit. But what if you take a look at your trade ideas list and most of them start breaking down? They're not even breaking out, they're just falling flat. That's also giving you some really, really great information about the market environment. It's telling you that these types of setups are not working right now. So stay in cash and save yourself, right? That's how you're able to compound your money quicker because you're not going to backslide. You're going to move up, then plateau. Maybe it goes down a little bit, but then the next wave, you catch the next wave and you start progressing higher. That's what we do. And your first step is to get onto our newsletter. So go to marrowwealth.com and get on the newsletter there. That said, let's open up to questions. Karen says, how do you control greed? There's a few different ways that you could control greed. The first is to be sizing in or to earmark your money for trading, right? So you're not it's the first thing that we said at the beginning of this. If you have a certain amount of money that you're earmarking for trading and you're doing that consistently every single week, right? So let's say that you're getting paid uh let's say that you're getting paid $1,000 a week, right? Just to use a round number. And let's say that you want to earmark 10% of your paycheck for trading. Then $100 you're taking out and you're putting it into your trading account. And that money is earmarked specifically for trading. You're not going to do anything else with it, just trading. That's one way to take the greed out of it because that money isn't tied to you buying a new whatever it is. It's not tied to you going out with your friends or family or helping out a relative. It's not tied to any of that. The idea is that eventually this is going to grow, but for right now, these are just seeds that you're uh, harvesting from your paycheck, so that way you can learn how to grow your money tree later on, right? And think of it that way. Think of it that this is something that you're putting in that will grow over time, and that your job is to learn how to be a good farmer. You need to learn how to grow your account. You need to learn all the different skills that are needed for trading. It's not just find a stock and put money in and hope for the best. You need to learn all about risk management, position sizing, how to manage your trades, how to manage a portfolio. Yeah, you need to learn about journaling and post analysis so that way you could analyze, here's what I did, here's how I can improve. All that stuff is super important. And that's why I wrote this book called The Trading Mind Wheel, because that that stuff wasn't really written down anywhere. I had to find it, a piece over here, a piece over there, a piece somewhere else. And I wanted to give you guys something concise that you could go and read and understand. Well, this is what I need for trading. This is what I'm getting myself into. And the Trading Mind Wheel does all that. So if you haven't gotten it yet, go grab it. It's on Amazon. Let's see, question from over here on YouTube. How long did it take from the first day of trading to financial freedom? So for me, it took a very, 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 very long time. And a big part of the reason why was because I spent the first decade like a chicken with its head cut off, just running around, not knowing where the heck I was going. There's So many mistakes that I made in that first decade. One was just trusting mutual funds, right? I didn't even know where to put my money or how to invest in the market. So I went down to my local bank and said, I want to trade in stocks. They said, no, that's way too risky. What you want is this. And they proceeded to sell me on their mutual funds. So I put money into that. And then 3.5 years later, I was down about 20%. And I looked at that and I'm like, well, I gave my money to the pros. I had all the time in the world, right? 3.5 years. You'd expect it to move up in 3.5 years and loads of diversification in those mutual funds. How in the heck am I down 20%? But of course, they still charged me their fees. So I took my money out, cursed them, and then tried to strike it out on my own. But in striking it out on my own, I didn't have any kind of guidance at all, right? I was watching Kramer and trying to read his books. That didn't work out too well. And it took me many more years of trial and error trying to figure out, well, how do I make this stuff work? And it wasn't until I finally found a group of traders that were working together, all trading the same style, same system, that I was able to finally start to make progress. And the reason why is because when everybody's all pointed in the same direction, and you're able to sit there and actually talk to somebody, that you're able to get guidance. You're able to say, "Hey, uh, you read something in such and such book. I read the same thing, and yeah, you could do it this way, but you could also do it in this other way. Maybe you could read this other book as well." And all those things start to add up and help you. Some of the books that I read along the way that I found extremely helpful: William O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stocks, Mark Minervini's Think and Trade Like a Champion, Nicholas Darvis, How I Made $2 million in the Stock Market, Van Tharp, Super Trader, all fantastic books, and I recommend reading all of them. But if you want a condensed version with all the things that I'm learning from all these other different places, go start with the Trading Mind Wheel, and it's going to save you so much time. It's ridiculous. And like I hate feeling like a salesman. I kind of feel like that right now because I keep on holding up the book and saying, go grab. But it's because I believe so much of what's in here, uh, and how it's going to help you, and the feedback that I'm getting from other people, that I really want you to go grab this, and it will help you. Let's see. Well, what other? How to work on psychology. The way that you want to work on psychology, Shandell, is to the first, you want to start asking yourself some very key questions. Here are some of the questions that you want to ask yourself. And again, these are all things that I go through thoroughly in the Trading Mind Wheel. And I'll tell you this first. The reason why the book is called the Trading Mind Wheel, if you see that there's this little brain right in the center of the book there, right in the center of that emblem. The reason why is because mindset is linked to everything. We have beliefs about not just about hope, fear, greed, all the different emotions, but we have beliefs about all the elements that are related to trading. So we have beliefs about journaling, we have beliefs about analysis, we have beliefs about the types of trades that we want to take, we have beliefs about how much we should be risking it, all these things. So because we have beliefs not just about trading itself, but about all the other skill sets that are interrelated, it's important to learn about mindset. So, to your question, how to work on your psychology, the first thing that you're going to want to do is to ask yourself a couple of key questions. What are my beliefs about trading? Right. So, write that on the top of your paper. What are my beliefs about trading? What are my beliefs about money? And then what are my beliefs about myself? And I want you to spend a good amount of time, spend an hour writing out as many beliefs as you can on those three questions. You're going to learn a lot about yourself in doing this exercise. And also just from there, you'll start to see if there are certain conflicts in the beliefs that you have. After that, you're going to want to write down your goals, all the different goals that you have specifically for trading. After you have your goals written out and you have your beliefs written out, then you'll be able to see, well, is this belief helping me get to this goal? Chances are there's going to be plenty of beliefs that need debunking. And that's where you're going to start to question some of your old beliefs. You'll be able to hang on to many of them, but some of them will be questioned, some of them will be dropped, some of them might be changed. And it's a process that could be a little emotionally painful. It was for me. And that's just the fact of it. That's one of the reasons why so few people do this kind of an exercise. But it's very important. And for more details of it, it's all in the Trading Mind Wheel. Go grab your copy. Let's see next. Another question from Karen: are you aggressive or are you a passive trader? I would say that I'm an active trader. So my typical holding time for a winning trade is about 20 days. Uh, on a losing trade, I might be out the same day, especially if the market environment is choppy. Most recently, there was a trade that I put on this week that I was in the trade and out of the trade the same day. The reason why is because I cut my losses short. So uh, on this particular trade, I was in and out uh, for the day with a 2.5% loss on the trade. That's not in the account, right? This is where position sizing can start to come into play. So on the actual trade, I ended up losing, I think it was 0.1% of capital. Right there, that's nothing. That's uh, that it's position sizing can help us so much, and that's another key theme in the book as well. But there's certain steps to learning about sizing and risk management. It's just like baking a cake. You wouldn't put the icing on before the cake is baked. So that's why the first thing that I think that everybody needs to learn about is mindset, and that's why it's the central theme of the Trading Mind Wheel. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Uh, Karen, meditation is work in the field. So, not sure if there's a question in there, but I will say that meditation is fantastic. I think that it's a very useful tool. It's something that that's one of my daily practices. So, one of the things that I've been sharing quite frequently lately, more so on X than anywhere else, is my morning routine. So, morning routine. I'm starting out with prayers. Uh, that's I wasn't always starting out with prayers. I'm working on developing a better relationship with God, and the reason why is because I feel as though we all have a God, whether we believe in God, this in the spiritual way or not. I feel as though whatever we're focused on, right? Like it's almost like a pyramid. Wherever our focus is, that's our God. For some people, money is your God. For some people, hedonism is your God. For some people, your career is your God. What is God to you? Well, when I'm studying and I'm studying the Bible and I'm studying Jesus and I'm trying to understand, well, what's a benevolent path, or what's a path that's going to produce a great life? That's what I settled on. I grew up Catholic. I went to a Catholic high school, then started to, I wouldn't say drift away, but just got away from praying regularly, got away from going to church regularly. And then after my daughter was born, I wanted to give that to her because I felt that it was a good moral upbringing, started to go back to church. And it's been very eye-opening to see uh, what I've learned, or how I'm revisiting what I had learned, and how so many of the lessons make far more sense as an adult versus when I was a teenager versus when I was a child. And they say that no man steps in the same river twice. I kind of understand that a bit better now. So the reason why prayers are the first thing that I'm doing is so that way I could have that focus on what is going to be a benevolent, uh, benevolent maker, benevolent God. So let's see. What else? Are you listening to Osho on Buddha? No, I have not. So right now I'm actually listening to the Bible, uh, the King James version of the Bible on Audible. I believe I'm up to Isaiah, and I'm working on listening to the entire Bible. Then after that, I want to move on to the Quran, and then I want to study some of the other religions as well. I think we all need a bit more uh, religious belief nowadays. It's far better than the other stuff that's being peddled out there. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Any other questions? Well, we're actually a couple of minutes over here, but let me just scroll through real quick and see if there's anything else. If you have any other questions, just type them in real quick. But again, now we are moving over to Rumble as well. So I just started a channel on Rumble. So go look on Rumble for Michael G. Lamont. Look for Mara Wealth over on Rumble. Subscribe over there. We'll be streaming uh, this this show over to Rumble as well. So sign up, and we'll keep the show on Fridays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll still post to Spotify, syndicate everything. I think the best way for you guys to really keep in touch with me, like in case of something crazy happens, is to be on the newsletter. So go to mariwealth.com, sign up for the newsletter. It's free. So one last question sneak in here, and we'll end with this one. How to control your position sizing, uh, and can you explain properly? Okay, so our position sizing should be large enough where when we place a trade, it'll have a positive impact, right? So the worst thing that could happen, or shouldn't say the worst thing, I would say the second worst thing that can happen is we put on a trade, it has a very meaningful gain, and it doesn't have an impact. For example, let's say that you're somebody that bought one Bitcoin and you bought it, let's say at $15, right? I believe it was at 15 about a decade ago. And let's say that you sold it at the ultimate top. You got about 60 grand out of it. It's amazing, right? That's an amazing return. But is that life-changing money? Well, it'll feel good for a little while, right? Like $15 to 60 grand. That's freaking phenomenal. But it could have been significantly more. So you want to bet a size that is appropriate. At the same time, you don't want to bet the farm. You don't want to bet everything that you have. You want to bet an amount where if the trade goes significantly against you, that you're not going to be wiped out. That's very important as well. There's a lot of ways to figure that part out. Like, well, what's a good size? Many of the skills needed for trading are interrelated. That's another reason why it's a mind wheel. All these things are interrelated, and the center of it all is mindset, because mindset is beliefs, and we have beliefs about all these different things. So I hope that answers the question. If it doesn't, send me a follow-up question, hit me up in the DMs or on email over on Rumble now. Till next week, I hope that you have a great weekend, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Much love. Peace out, everybody.